Okay, hey guys, welcome to another weekly training recap where I'm going to talk about my training, kind of just give my input on general things I've been implementing, and just talking about random PL related things. So, we are on day one, Tuesday, which is bench. I'm working up to my top single here. Warm ups are moving pretty well, and bench has actually been feeling the best it has been in the past couple weeks. Starting to get more of that pop back, and my arch and my back is feeling more stable than ever. This is 120 right here, and in the past it moved really well, and it has moved at a 6 in the past. For the past couple weeks, it moved to 8, 9, 7.5 range, and it was kind of sucky. But yeah, so I mean, just to explain what I've been changing up on bench is, we were getting used to an increase in frequency, but also if you see myself set up on the bench, which you'll see in later clips, I'm actually dragging myself up while keeping my lats tight. And then I'm using the long neck cue to sit my neck and traps. And then I'm kind of pulling the bars close to my body without bending my elbows to depress my shoulders. And then arching my back by pushing my glutes under my spine. And that's kind of how I cue for bench now. So right here, we're getting up to my squat warm up on Thursday. And hold up a sec.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that was just my friend Priscilla, who I've been training with a lot recently, and we kind of just like to fuck around, and it's honestly been making it's one of the factors in making my training really fun, is just having someone or other friends to just mess around with. So I mean, if you have any homies at your gym, I'd recommend lifting with them even in this time. So yeah, I'm actually very satisfied with how squats went this week. Last week they were kind of messy, and this is my main squat day, and I was really focusing and honing on technique, really focusing on keeping my back tight, but also keeping my elbows vertical, and that's going to help me get that passive elbow back drive that a lot of squatters use today, and I'm just kind of getting used to that technique. Squats were flying, and I'm actually really happy about it. Every warm up just felt almost effortless, and I mean the load is pretty light, yeah, but I mean normally I feel like the weight is somewhat heavy around this range, especially 160 is a little bit of a push, but I mean, as you can see here, that was nothing, just popped out of the hole. And that leads us actually to the top single, and top single was 170, that was on program, and it was, it moved really, really well. I'm very satisfied with that. This is most likely, I think, the fastest 170 I've moved ever. And, this is 20 kilos under my squat all time. So, it's nothing, in the crazy high percentages. But, just seeing this, it felt effortless. It felt like I was in full control the whole time, and it felt amazing. So, yeah. Let's see. What do I want to talk about? So, actually, I mean, if we want to further dive into improvement, I've actually never been able to move 150 for reps at such a low RPE, and I mean, you could see right now I'm taking 150 and it's moving super well, and it was honestly, in my opinion, could have been a 6, maybe even a sub 6, but I mean, we'll see. We're going to continue with this progression. I'll be moving more weight for my back down 5s later in the weeks. We can also talk about cues. I've actually been really focusing on staying grounded and feeling the floor under my feet and pushing evenly, and sometimes I just kind of lose that sense, and it's not great, because that's when some form breakdown happens. But I was really trying to minimize form breakdown here by focusing on rooting, and then, as I was saying before, keeping the back tight and keeping the elbows vertical. And I actually here I brought my grip in by a finger, so I can keep my back a little more tight naturally, and I can actually push those elbows down. Only reason I was wearing the elbow sleeves is that I don't want to pre-agitate them. I was actually feeling a little bit of elbow pain, which happens when I do take heavier loads for reps on squats, and normally I'm not taking anywhere near 150 for back down rep work. So it's kind of new to me, to be honest, but I'm just extremely happy that we're getting to this point and it's moving that well. I think it's a really good sign. So Thursday is my SPD session, and I took this 112 single for for bench, and it moves all right. And then I rep work with 100. Thursday's easily my worst bench day. I mean, that's expected because I bench on Tuesdays with a heavy single and a shit ton of volume, and I mean it's just not expected to go super well. But like, it's a secondary bench day, nothing too exciting. So here I'm actually warming up on pause deadlifts. I don't think I'm pausing here, but I do pause on the top set. But yeah, deadlift technique has been something we've been really working on. It's a little frustrating because we've spent a long time working on it so far, and it's just starting to come together. I'm like feeling out this new hip height and pulling slack out of the bar, and I have a good feeling about this. Thursday's deadlifts move extremely well, given I know that like the load is light, but we've been working with like 140, 145 for the past couple, like honestly months, just to kind of bring tech like together, and I think it's coming through super well. I ended up taking 160 kilos for 4 sets of 1 on pause deads, and I mean you'll see how they move here. You could actually also check all these angles. Like I moved this super well, and it looks really clean. Here you could see the bar path is looking great, and my shoulder blade is like right over the bar, which is perfect. My hips don't rise that much, like very minimal. Here you can see that the stackage is great, and I have a really good feeling about this new technique. I really just have to get used to it, which is the annoying part. But I mean, we're progressing, and as long as things are getting better, like that's all that really matters. Before then, I was dropping my hips too low, my stance was too wide, and my toe angle was weird. So like we fixed 3 factors so far. I'm sure that in a couple weeks to a month that this will be just the new tech that I'm used to, and it'll be second nature, which is really what the goal is at the moment. I just want these things to be second nature and be able to pull without like being too worried about technique, just normal training. All right, so we're about to approach day 3, which is Friday, and we're going to do some tempo bench. And I've actually been really liking these recently, just because that like I dropped the weight by 2.5 kilos, and we've also changed the reps to a 4x2 sets and reps to a 4x2 instead of 3 sets of triples. And actually, it's helped me kind of take the tempos a lot more seriously because I just have doubles, and it's way easier to focus than on triples. I feel like when I was having the triples, it just became so much harder, and I actually rushed it a little bit. So here I could really take my time. Very happy with technique here. I mean, you could see how I'm setting up, like big arch, like just optimized. Lots of back stimulus right here just because I'm doing everything to keep myself tight. Leg drive feels great because I'm just pushing up the bench continuously. And the reps are clean. I think is really contributing to my technique and my setup and giving me just like a little more consistency so I could transfer that to my comp bench. All right, day 4, we're approaching my pause squat and deadlift day. And I took 140 for this warm-up, moved super well. And like, I mean, just kind of reiterating what I was doing on Thursday, just focusing on back tightness, focusing on pushing my elbows down. And this was my top pause single with 150, and it just fucking moved, man. I'm really happy about that because I know the load is not crazy, but I've just been like, that weight wasn't like a huge obstacle for me, but like it's now effortless. So it became like, something like, oh shit, I have to take this seriously, to like, I'm not worried at all. And it's moving, which means the progress is happening, which makes me happy. So that's all I could ask for. Here we're working on about deadlifts, and I don't know, deadlifts felt a little bit off. And I don't know if it's like my hips or if I was just pushing too low because the other day I wasn't, or it might just be the angle. I think they might just like look way worse than they do now. But I'm really focusing on my warm-ups here. Really focusing on like pushing out, kind of pulling slack out of the bar, and just like making every rep look clean, even though it's just a warm up, 1 red, 2 red. And that's like kind of what my coach was telling me to do, just kind of focus on the warm ups, make sure technique is down, then move up. And I think that's actually really helping. These 120s like looked really good, felt really good, so it was all good. I've been actually taking a lot smaller jumps too, just because like I just want to focus on technique, and we've actually have not touched anything near like the weight ranges that we are now. I actually ended up going to 190 and you'll see how that moves. And I haven't touched 190 in 3 months. So these warm-ups are looking relatively clean. I think my knees were coming in a little bit as the weight gets heavier, and I really just wasn't focusing on like knees out and staying patient on the floor. If I just stay patient on the floor, then I should be good. I just have to get used to the fact that I am probably going to have a way slower deadlift than I used to. This is my top single here. It actually moves, pretty well, and that's all cool. I rushed it a bit, but I think I did a good job pulling slack out of the bar. I just needed to just push my legs out a little more, and it'll take some time, but yeah, that's feeling good. So we had back downs, 2 sets of 6 with 145 kilos, negligible work, but technique was looking perfect on here. That's exactly how I want my deadlift to look. Just like pull slack, push my hips in, push my legs out, and just kind of fly up with it. I think I do just have to stop recording from this angle because it kind of looks a lot worse. But here you can see like my hips are really open, my legs are really pushing out. I'm pulling the slack out of the bar and then setting my hips, which is awesome. I need to just work on like pulling my chest through, but things are coming together. I'm just happy with like deadlift improving. It's not perfect now, but progress is progress. So that's all that matters. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.